Single dad CEO rescued a little girl from the hailstorm. She said, "My mom used to tell me about you." The storm came down like the sky was breaking open, the wind roaring through the empty park, and sheets of ice hammering the ground so hard it echoed off the trees. Nathan Carter had seen many things in his 38 years, boardrooms filled with billion-dollar arguments, glamorous events where everyone smiled with hidden agendas, and lonely nights staring at city lights that never warmed him, but nothing prepared him for the sight of a tiny girl curled beside a wooden bench, shivering as hailstones struck her arms, her dress soaked in icy rain, her little hands pressed desperately over her ears as if she could shut out the world. In all the chaos, she looked impossibly small. And in that moment, everything in Nathan's life, the power, the money, the success, meant nothing compared to the simple, terrifying reality that a child was out there alone. If you believe kindness, compassion, and second chances still matter in this world, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps spread more stories that touch hearts. Nathan didn't think. He simply ran. The hail cut across his face and suit like thrown stones, and his leather shoes slipped on the wet pavement, but he pushed harder. The little girl didn't even look up when he reached her. She was so lost in fear that the storm itself seemed to swallow her. He crouched down, gently touched her shoulder, and the moment she lifted her trembling eyes to him, something unfamiliar pulled at his chest. She couldn't have been more than 5. Golden hair plastered to her cheeks, wide blue eyes red from crying, a pink dress soaked and clinging to her small frame. He murmured warm reassurances, shielding her with his own body as the storm hammered down. In the distance, his black SUV idled with its lights cutting through the rain, the open back door waiting. He scooped her into his arms, feeling how cold she was, how light she felt, like she had been fighting the storm alone for far too long. As he held her close, the little girl whispered in a trembling voice, "My mom used to tell me about you." The word struck him harder than the storm. Nathan paused, his breath catching for a fraction of a second. He didn't know this child. He didn't know her mother. Yet her voice held a strange familiarity, a fragile thread that tugged deep inside places he thought he had sealed away years ago. He rushed her to the car, blasting the heater, wrapping his suit jacket around her. She clutched the fabric tightly as if it was the first warmth she'd felt in a long time. Her eyes fluttered with exhaustion, but Nathan could see something else, something like recognition. As if she truly did know him somehow, or at least knew the idea of him. The roads were flooding fast, but he drove carefully through the storm toward the nearest urgent care. All the while, the little girl stayed quiet, staring at him with that same haunting familiarity. Nathan's mind raced. He had built Carter Innovations from scratch, growing it into one of the most powerful tech firms in the country. His face appeared in magazines, business forums, motivational conferences, but that didn't explain why this child's mother had spoken of him. Nor why the little girl said it with such trust. At urgent care, the doctors checked her and said she was cold, dehydrated, frightened beyond measure, but physically okay. She held Nathan's hand the entire time, refusing to let go, and he found, strangely, he didn't want to pull away either. When they asked her name, she finally whispered, "Lila." But when they asked about her mother, her little face crumpled, and her voice broke as she said, "Mommy didn't wake up this morning." Nathan felt the world tilt. He stayed with her through every question, every tear. Authorities were called, but Lila clung to Nathan with desperate trust. And when the social worker tried to gently coax her away, she cried out, burying her face in Nathan's chest, gripping him as if her whole world depended on it. Nathan, who could remain stone-faced during corporate mergers, felt something inside him shatter. Before he knew it, he was offering to take temporary custody until more could be learned. The social worker, recognizing him, seeing his home address, noting the fact he was already a father, agreed pending rapid verification. Nathan's mind had barely processed the decision, but his heart had already made it for him. He drove Lila home through the remnants of the storm. His own daughter, Emily, aged 9, ran down the stairs the moment she saw him walk in with a small, sleeping girl in his arms. Emily had been Nathan's anchor ever since her mother passed 5 years earlier in a tragic car accident. Nathan worked tirelessly, but Emily kept him human. She gasped softly when she saw Lila's bruised knees, wet dress, and tear-stained cheeks. No jealousy. No confusion. Just concern. Emily took Nathan's jacket, fetched warm clothes, and helped settle Lila in the guest room. Nathan watched the two young girls, one wiping the other's tears, and he felt the heaviness in his chest grow into something far deeper than concern. It was a sense of responsibility, fate, and an inexplicable connection. That night, after tucking Emily into bed, Nathan sat in his home office staring at the city below. Lila's words echoed relentlessly, "My mom used to tell me about you." He couldn't shake it. Nathan had built his life around logic, strategy, hard data, but nothing about this situation felt explainable. He searched the name Lila's mother had given to the hospital before she passed, Anna Miller. The name cracked open memories buried under years of work and grief. Anna. College. 2 years of friendship. Almost something more. A girl with bright laughter, warm eyes, and a heart too big for her own good. The girl he cared about deeply but lost touch with when life accelerated and he'd been consumed by building his empire. His hands trembled slightly. Could it be the same Anna? He dug deeper. There she was, a recent obituary. Same smile. Same eyes. A single mother. No mention of family. No mention of a partner. And the most staggering realization, the timeline. Lila's age. The years aligning with a painful memory in Nathan's past, the one summer he and Anna had confessed feelings, shared dreams, and then parted ways when he moved across the country to start his company. He had tried to reach out afterward, but life had consumed him, and they drifted. His heart pounded. The possibility hit him like a tidal wave. Was Lila his? Nathan barely slept. The next morning, he walked into the guest room. Lila sat upright on the bed, hair messy, clutching Emily's stuffed unicorn. Her big blue eyes lifted, warm and trusting. She didn't look afraid anymore. Something inside Nathan broke open, raw and unguarded. Days turned into a quiet routine. Lila shadowed him everywhere. Emily embraced her like a little sister. Nathan found himself smiling more, softening in ways he hadn't in years. He cooked breakfast. He took both girls to school, tucked them into bed, attended school events he used to delegate to assistants. His employees noticed his rare smile. His board noticed his rare absence from late-night meetings. Lila changed him. But the biggest change came when a DNA test confirmed what his heart already knew: Lila was his daughter. Nathan cried for the first time since losing his wife. Lila climbed onto his lap and wrapped her small arms around his neck, as if comforting him instead. A week later, Nathan visited the address on Anna's old documents. It was a small, worn-out apartment building. He met neighbors who spoke of Anna's kindness, her struggles, her pride, her refusal to ask for help even when life was unbearably hard. They spoke of Lila, always cheerful, always hopeful, always talking about the father her mom told her stories about. Anna had never spoken badly of Nathan, not once. She simply told Lila that her father was a strong, brave, successful man who would have loved her if he'd known. Nathan wept in his car afterward, clutching the steering wheel, feeling the weight of what he had missed and the miracle that had brought Lila to him. As weeks turned into months, Nathan legally adopted Lila as his own. He merged her life with Emily's, transforming his cold mansion into a warm, chaotic home filled with laughter, toys on the floor, art taped randomly across the walls, and late-night giggles echoing down the hallway. Nathan learned to braid hair, learned to listen better, learned that board meetings could wait but bedtime stories could not. His heart healed in ways he didn't know were possible. One evening, almost a year later, the two girls danced barefoot in the living room to soft music while Nathan watched from